everyone, happy Friday. We have an awesome live stream planned for you today, and we're going to be working on our API and our EdiHub bot, which I'm super excited about, and Carl is going to take us through it, and we're going to be using GitPod as well, which I am really enjoying because reviewing pull requests with that is super awesome. And we have Carl with us, and Carl will be doing a lot of driving today, which I'm super excited about. And Carl, give yourself an intro and a shout out. It's awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for all the amazing work you do on the EdiHub projects as well.
Yeah, hey all. My name is Julian. You probably know me from the Discord server. I'm a mod of the EdiHub community, and yeah, as Eddie said, I'm quite involved in the community projects. Yeah, and I hope you can learn some things today.
Awesome. I'm going to share Carl's, or Julian's, I should say. Sorry, Carl
Yeah,
is Julian's nickname.
doesn't matter.
He confuses me in the chat. Do drop Carl a follow, and you can see what awesome things he's up to. He's contributing to our open source projects as well as GitPod's open source projects and loads of other stuff as well. So I'm just dropping that in the chat now. It's awesome to have you all here. I hope you all had a great week. And we're going to talk a little bit about automated testing as well, because we did have a bit of an issue, and we were very grateful that we had automated testing as well. So Carl, you drive. Let us know what you'd like to talk about first, what you'd like to show us. Don't forget to share your screen.
I think you can go first if you want. A few minutes ago, before the stream, I just came up with a potential issue which might occur in the stream today. I already fixed this and opened the pull request. If you want, you can review it.
Yes, let's do it. Let me share my screen and let's do that live. Absolutely. Awesome. Okay, I'm going to bring my screen up and let's have a look. So answer the question, what headphones am I using? These are just the basic Apple ones. I thought to keep it really simple today, really casual, won't do anything fancy. I do have some, GitHub sent me some big overhead noise cancelling headphones, but they're still in the box. I haven't opened them yet. I've got too much swag to go through. Good problem to have. So if I go to, let me share my screen and everyone can see. Here we go. So share screen. So hopefully everyone can see my screen now, and it has defaulted to the LinkFree project because that is the most popular one and one I visit the most as well. So loving all your support on that. Let me make that a bit bigger. Here we go. So if I'm going to the API project, let's have a look. And if I go to pull requests, 4 minutes ago from Carl, so pull request 200. So hopefully you're all going to get green squares today. So as we find ideas, issues, we're going to give you suggestions so you can all raise issues and hopefully raise some pull requests as well. So let's have a look. So this is the issue that Carl found.
Exactly. Just to sum it up real quick, when using the Discord entity, what we can do is use the ID of the actual Discord user as the key for our database and not use the auto-generated ID which Stargate creates for us. This makes especially creating and reading from the database much easier, because when creating a Discord user in the database, it will tell us there's already an object with ID this and this, and we don't have to manually check if the user already exists or something else. I hope it was a bit understandable. It's actually just this line of code, because the service I wrote for connecting to the database already supported this. It was just not passed in as an argument, and the rest is the adjusted test.
Awesome. Yes, so everyone, you're not late, don't worry. Awesome to have you all here. Thanks for everyone saying hi in the chat. I love it when you chat to each other and geek out. But don't worry, you are not late. And I love this question. I'll let everyone answer this question in the chat. Yes, now this looks make sense. So you've changed it from being Discord user, key space name, and then this. I have to open the code to remind myself. I'm guessing that's the collection that we're saving in.
Exactly.
And so in addition to that, you also added the ID as well of the Discord user rather than it being auto-generated. Makes sense. So And we've got automated tests, which I think is great. So we know that it works. If we go to checks, we can see these are all green. So we know that they were confidently changed. And there's actually one thing that I would like to change in the future, but an automated test, which we write in plain English. So you're going to see here. So if here you go. So given I'm authorized with the writing permissions, and then these are the it's a bit, because I'm doing it left to right, there isn't enough real estate. I wonder if I make it a bit smaller. No, it still goes over 2 lines. And then we pass in this details, and we check that the response contains that. So that's really good to see that we're confident that it's the ID that's created is actually returned in the response, and we do some extra checks below as well. So one thing I was going to say I would like to change is I would like to change the order of these, because for me I always like to think to have the collection, so the key space first, then the collection, then the ID, and then the data. But I'm guessing the ID is optional, which is why it's last.
Exactly.
So yes. Yeah, so that's quite interesting. But if I ever wanted to change it, then we can always do it confidently because we have the automated test, and we can make sure that works.
Feel free to open pull requests for this.
Yes, but we'll get you some easier ones. Don't worry, everyone. We're gonna looks good. We're gonna find some more fun stuff for you to get green squares. How is everyone's Hacktoberfest going? Do let us know in the chat how everything is going as well. Don't worry, you're not late. We are just getting started and getting warmed up. Cool. Great to have you all here. Thanks for saying hi in the chat as well. Awesome. Okay. Right, I'm happy with that, and the tests have passed, so we're quite happy with that. So let's squash that, and we're going to go just check going into the main branch. So here we're going to say, I think it's a fix. Do you agree, Carl?
Definitely.
Yeah. So use Discord UID. And then is there an issue for it? There isn't an issue for it. So let's get someone to raise an issue.
It was a real quick fix before the stream to set everything up correctly, that we don't run into an issue. So yeah, you should always raise an issue first.
In an ideal scenario, yes. But this is perfect because this allows someone in the audience. So who needs a green square for today? Let us know in the chat if you need a green square for today, and we'll give you some green squares. So the one we would like for now, if someone could raise an issue on this repo, I'll share the link in the chat. So this is the EdiHub API repo. That's a link to the pull request, but if you can click on issues and raise an issue, then I can update this number to be the actual issue. And you can just make it the issue to be really just copy and paste the description from the pull request. And then when you raise that issue, you can send me the number, and we can update this to say closes the issue number, and then we can update the commit as well and get it merged in. Awesome. So love that, Hitesh. Thank you very much. You got 3 today, so you're going to share the green square love. I love that. Awesome. Carl, people encouraging you to turn on your webcam.
Maybe later.
Okay, we're working on it.
Not for now. Yeah.
We're trying to conserve bandwidth. That's I think that's the reason why. Cool. So has anyone created the issue yet? Do send me the issue number. You won't be able to copy and paste the link. I think YouTube will probably remove it from the chat. But if you can give me the issue number, I can put that in. Okay. So once we merge this, Carl, in a moment, what we're going to do next?
Then the next thing on our to-do list would probably be adjusting the bot to be able to create, or to allow the users of the bot to create their Discord profiles.
Awesome. That's great, because then we can get people who are listening and watching to update their profiles. And then when we update, probably not on this stream, depending on how time goes, but maybe next one, update LinkFree, we can get to use their data that they've set via the bot. So
exactly.
Yeah, that's going to be cool. So people can start setting their data already.
Awesome. I already prepared something in the bot repo. I'm not sure if I already pushed it to an branch, but I had some tests locally today to make sure everything
awesome
works fine. I think there's already something.
10 hours ago, 662.
Yeah, that's my preparations.
Okay, cool.
It seems like some actions failed.
Possibly. Let's have a look. And build on push
Build.
file, but the lint. Okay, let's have a look.
Oh, I think I already fixed this, but I
No,
think it's not pushed yet.
okay, no problem. If not, we can get some people in the audience to fix this as well. Get them some green squares too. So we have a few options. So don't worry. I don't think anyone wants the green squares. So I can get a green square if no one wants it. I don't think anyone in the
Let
chat
me
wants
check.
it. Giving away free green squares. Nobody wants them. No, because that was created 10 days ago by you. Sorry, 10 hours ago.
Oh, it. I didn't fix it yet. It's probably quite easy. You just need to check out the branch, run npm run lint fix, and done.
Okay, nice. Krish, you have so many green squares already. I'm pretty sure you do. How many does Krish have today? Krish, what's your GitHub username? I'll check. Hitesh, you said you have 3. So okay, you can be kind of plan B if no one else wants it. Let's try and share the green squares, the green square love. You're only a little bit late. Don't worry, we're just getting warmed up, and we're really struggling. Do you have green squares for today? If not,
I'm already having 3, I think, for today.
I don't know if I have any. Let me see. I bet you Krish has got a lot.
Oh, I just saw that some linting errors won't be fixed because they are from comments and empty methods I already initialized, which
Oh,
we
okay.
probably
So
need to create or implement now.
right, okay. So Krish, you have 36 green squares for today. You got plenty. You don't need any more. But I'm plan B. That sounds so bad. I don't mean it in a bad way, but you've already got 3 green squares. Yes. So how to get a green square? Okay, I'll explain. I'll explain how to get a green square. So if you go to new issue on this repo, and it's a bug. I think we can log it as a bug. So in fact, I can send you the link, and then you've got actual behavior and expected behavior. So just paste in what you see in this pull request, so the description. I think in the actual behavior, yes, uses Discord user ID as database instead of the auto-generated one from Stargate. So actual behavior is auto-generated. You can keep it lightweight, we know what it is. And expected would be use Discord UID. And just submit that, we'll know what it means. And let me get you the link will be too long for me to share, so let me get you the link to the pull request. If not, if you haven't got a GitHub account and you can't do it now, we'll get someone else to do it. There'll be loads more for us to give away, so don't worry. And then you just, after that, you hit submit, and I will use the ID to merge in this pull request. Okay, yes, so you're right, we're not able to fix it yet. But we'll fix it on this stream. So I don't know if you want to share your screen while we're waiting for that last for that issue to be created. Are you happy to do that? No one's writing in the chat. I don't think we have slow mode enabled. So I think Hitesh asked first. Yep, I'll take it. So Hitesh, if you could create that, that would be great, and so we can move on to the next part. Awesome. Cool. And then I can, and if you give me the issue number, because I'm not going to hit create on this one.
Can you see my screen?
Yep, your screen is there. Let's bring your screen
Awesome.
up for the moment. If you're ready, I'll bring your screen up, and we can come back to
Yes,
mine when
I'm fine.
And then I'll bring my screen back up in a few minutes when we're ready to merge your PR. Just waiting for that issue number. Are you able to zoom the text a bit?
Yeah, wait, can't I zoom?
Hitesh,
Seems like it
bug
doesn't.
report, please.
This works for zooming, this not.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Oh no, it does. Is it big
Okay.
enough? Oh, it's probably too big now for me.
It's okay for me. Make it as big as you can without being too big, and then we'll see what people think in the audience. Oh, I've missed some chat in the chat as well. So awesome to have you here. Thank you so much for joining. We're super excited. So best practices while creating an issue, give as much context as you can. I think it's important, but in this case, you can keep it lightweight and simple because we know what it is.
I think what we can do in the meantime is connect the local VS Code instance with the GitPod.
Awesome.
As you might know, I'm using GitPod for my development. I really barely use the local VS Code or Docker anymore. And GitPod just brought out a feature that you can connect your cloud IDE with your local VS Code. It's probably not that hard. You just open your project in your GitPod, and then there's the option Open in VS Code. I select my Visual Studio. Now it should set up a connection between my local VS Code and my online version of the project. I hope everything works now properly. In my tests it does. It did, but fingers crossed.
I'm sure it'll be fine. Okay, while that's loading, it's looking good.
Oh, that's probably my security scan. Oh. Can I close this?
While you're playing with that, I want to bring up my screen. We've got an issue number. I'm going to merge your pull request, but I'm going to answer Suhail, hopefully I pronounced your name right, question about how to create best practices with an issue. So let me bring my screen back up. So when you're creating an issue, it's important to give it a title that's not too long but descriptive enough, and then add the information. Again, this was just a quick one so I can get a number. And then when raising a pull request, again, similar things, you need to give it a descriptive title, and you need to give it context in the description as well. Ideally screenshots and so forth is really important. Also, now I can add fixes or closes to the top of the pull request. So when this does get merged or closed, but in this case we're going to merge it, it will automatically close the issue. So you'll see this is open, but it will close, and it will link the two together. So you can see now in the timeline it has a link to the pull request, which is really important. So I want to say fixes, use Discord UUID, and the number of it was 201. So let me change that to 201. And again, in the change log, that will link the features and fixes to the issue numbers. That's why it's really important. So I'm going to confirm that. And so now it's merged in, and the build will be running. And what we'll see is, let me give you an example. So if I go back to here and go to releases, so we go to previous releases, these are the numbers I talked about. So it says bug fixes. So we'll get a new one in a minute. It will be 011.2, and it will give us a title here, and then this will link to the issue number and also link to the commit, which is super awesome. And so now you can see this is already closed automatically. It's less admin for the maintainers, which is really important. Okay, hopefully that answers your question. Any questions, let us know in the chat. We're here to answer. Hey Mohan, awesome to have you here. Okay, so Leivanya, hopefully I pronounced your name right. You've created it 203. You might have been a little bit slow, but that's not a problem. Let's have a look. Oh, it was on the API project, wasn't it? I closed that tab. Very silly of me. Let's have a look. On the API project. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for raising it. I am just going to close it because it did get created already. So I will just say thank you for raising. You still get the green square. We're going to check your profile in a second to prove it. Thank you for raising a duplicate, well, not delicate, duplicate of 201. So it's fine, no one got harmed. It's still going to rain in the UK tomorrow, and we're still going to, have breakfast tomorrow morning and all the rest. So if in doubt, always definitely raise it, but do try and I think normally check, but this was good practice for you. So if we check your profile, you will now have a green square for today. There you go, one contribution on the 8th of October. So thank you very much for that contribution. You're not part of EdiHub yet. You can get another green square if you want. And you can do that by going to our support repo, and I'll share a link in the chat. And when you raise an issue, you can go to new issue, and you can choose invite me to the GitHub organization, and the GitHub action will send you an invite so you can join our organization on GitHub and have that on your profile as well. We have lots of other people here, so let me share that in the chat. There we go. Love to see people saying hi in the chat and welcome each other. That's awesome. Okay, Carl, I'll share your screen. Oh, your screen's gone. Are you having some issues?
I think it's from with bandwidth.
Okay.
I'm just hoping everything works now. Yeah, if my internet connection isn't strong enough, I'll probably do it with the online version.
Yeah, no problem. No problem. We really appreciate you driving today. So that's really cool and taking us through it. I need to get my head back into our API project. And everyone, if you have any questions about the API project specifically, or APIs, automated testing, or bots, do let us know in the chat. Have a look at the documentation in the repo. And if anything's missing, I mean, there's some green squares for you, some contributions for Hacktoberfest as well to make those improvements. So if you're reading the documentation and you see something doesn't make sense, ask us here in the chat, we can answer, and then you can then update the documentation, and that could be a good Hacktoberfest contribution as well. So yes, it's not just about contributing code to open source and Hacktoberfest, it is about adding value, and documentation is a great way to add value. Look at the automated tests. If I go back to that again, and you'll see maybe there's some things you missed in automated tests, and a fresh pair of eyes can help. So you can go to the test directory, and you can go to features, and these are the features that we have, and the one we're going to work on today is Discord features, and you can read this, and our tests are written in English. Let's have a look. Can we make, we do have authentication and authorization. We have authentication, and we do have authorization as well, actually, in our API. So you can check. We can run through a brief overview today if Carl is happy to do that, but we won't actually code it and go into a lot of detail. But we can do a bit of brief overview if that helps. And while Carl is doing that, I'll try and check out Hitesh your pull requests. Sorry, it's been a few weeks. I'm really behind on GitHub notifications, but I have managed to get them down from, I think it was like 9,600 last week to like 2,200. And Sarah's hiding in the corner, and she's helping me as well to try and group notifications and all the rest. So that's awesome. So we're down to like 2,200. So we're slowly getting there. I think we're into October. So a few weeks ago, yeah, maybe I have to go back and see that. Can you let me know, Hitesh, let me know the issue number or the pull request number, and I will check it out when Carl starts driving. And I'll bring it up here so I don't forget. Let me see. Edibot. Pull requests.
So probably I just saw that the new version of the API is already created. I'm not. Let me have a look if it's already pushed to the registry. Because if yes, I can restart my Docker Compose.
It's pushed to, yeah, the Docker image has been pushed, but now it's deploying to Kubernetes. So what we will see is api.edihub.org. It will say 11.1 is deployed, but what we will see is when this finishes, it should deploy 11.2.
0.2, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty good. So everyone, just so I can explain a bit more. So the first number is the major, the middle number is the minor, and the third one is kind of the fixes, the builds or the fixes. So that's the one that's going out. So if I refresh, it's just bumped. There you go, 11.2. So our pipeline has worked and it's gone green. So that's awesome. So again, automation, automated tests, these things are all really, really awesome. And as I was saying, these are what the automated tests look like. So they are written in plain English, and you change what is in the quotes. So if you wanted to do something that checked that it failed, or you only wanted to write permission, you could say given authorization with reading permission, and then the test will automatically have that. So using Cucumber for automated tests allows everybody to get involved in this. And adding value, you could add some tests that we maybe have missed, and they might go green, which is great. Maybe you find a bug and they go red, and then we need to, improve the code to make the test go green. So don't let automated tests scare you. They don't have to be scary and hard. So yes, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I think I'm set up. I pulled the new API image. Yeah.
Awesome.
Runs without any problems. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so Dev Overflow says an overview of the authentication authorization is fine. Is okay if you're happy to do that, Carl.
Okay. Yeah. Then I probably need to go to this GitHub repo because I just opened the Etibot repo. Yeah.
Oh,
But I
okay.
think we can do it do this afterwards if it's fine.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah. What we are doing is creating the profile command today. So the idea is that a user types exclamation mark profile, for example, exclamation mark profile create to create a new one, or exclamation mark profile add Twitter and then the Twitter username or the Twitter URL. Yeah, therefore we need to create two functions. The first one will be create user to create to create a new user and then update the user with the socials which are getting added. So that's the update user function. We probably need a switch for this. Yeah, and the actual functions will go to in the profile service where I already created the functions. I think the existing user isn't needed anymore because of the fix we currently are just pushed to the API. Yeah, you see Edibot started successfully in the dev version. I've created an Discord server with just me and the bot where I can run the commands and see the logs and stuff. Yeah, in the profile service, we are going to need the HTTP service from Nest.js to make the HTTP requests from the bot to the API. And we'll need the token cache service. That's now related to authentication because the bot is, I think you can call it a super user of the API because the bot has writing permissions. Other tokens are just having scopes for reading the database and not creating any data. Yeah, and the token gets cached in the bot because it's only run in a single instance. It's not clusters, and because of that, we can cache it in memory. That's not that big of a deal. That's a quite simple caching logic in the return token function here. And yeah, and this should always return a valid token. Good. So I already created the handler for this. So if we type profile and add return message dot.
And just to answer Mohan's question, it does look a bit like Angular. Nest.js is an API framework, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from Angular. So it will look similar to Angular, and it's got all the nice guards and all those other cool things that like Angular has. That's just is already built and available, so you can just write classes with the right annotations, and it does all the hooks for you. It's really awesome.
So yeah, if I should actually log something. Yeah, no, it logged the successful. So yeah, we are arriving or coming to this point here where we can now switch between the commands or the arguments which are provided by the command. I think we can have a look at the token module in the token handler. We have something quite similar here. We have here an additional check that only users with the role moderators are able to use this command. But yeah, switch and then args once. I think it's something we can even copy. We need a response, and then this should be, create is fine, I think, and then we don't need the token service. We need the profile service, but we need to inject it. So we can private read-only profile service, and it's of type profile service. So now it's injected, and we can use the functions.
This is not Python, this is TypeScript. So very, very similar to JavaScript, but with some nice extra features added. But any specific questions of why we're doing something in a certain way, do let us know in the chat. We're more than happy to answer.
Yes, now we need to create the create user function. Therefore, we can take this out. I think we don't need a token cache service in the handler yet. So this needs to be a async function because of the await we are using here.
Hi Yasin, how you doing? Hi Ashwin, I answered your question in the chat as well. Thanks both for joining.
This needs to be message of type message as an argument. So now we're getting the token, and then everything we probably just need to do is we can go to the Swagger documentation actually to make it a bit more clear what we actually trying to achieve.
I always forget about this. I always forget to check the Swagger documentation.
So yeah, I opened the port 3000. That's the port the local API instance runs on. And if we just go to the Swagger path, we see everything we need to know. And yeah, we are using this entity today, the Discord entity. Oops. And now we see how our DTO needs to look like. We need to provide author with platform Discord, and the UID is the Discord UID of the sender, or the one who created or sent the message to the bot. Then bio is optional, and then we can add the 4 socials: Discord, Twitter, LinkedIn, and GitHub for now. But that's probably quite extendable. So adding YouTube or any other platforms shouldn't be a problem. So yeah, feel free to raise pull requests for this.
Let's answer some of these questions with I think it's some great questions. So Dev Overflow says, whoa, what is this? So Swagger Docs allows you to, it's almost like Postman, but it's automatically kind of pre-generated for you. And I think it is awesome. And we've included it in the project so people can play with it locally or even, remotely and so forth. And I just think it's awesome, really, really awesome. Mohan says TypeScript used to hate it at the beginning, but really like it. Yeah, I think a lot of people have it that way as well. It's just super, super helpful. You can use Discord.js, and we did originally build the bot in Discord.js, but it got messy quite quickly because everyone built things very differently, and it's a bit like using a library, like using React. It can get messy very quickly, and people do things different ways. So using something like Nest.js, or in the front end, an equivalent would be like Angular, where it's more structured and more framework. It's just done in a certain way, and that's documented, which is awesome and really helpful to make projects scale.
Exactly. Especially when maintaining your project in some later stages of the life cycle of your project, it's probably much easier doing it with TypeScript instead of JavaScript.
Exactly, and that answers, we'll come back to this question in a second. So this question from Biresh, after Java, should I do JavaScript? You could. I'd recommend doing TypeScript because it's very similar to Java. It kind of gets the best of both worlds. So yes, but you can, and in TypeScript you can just write JavaScript as well if you want to. So how do you use the Swagger API? Can you explain a bit more about it?
Sure.
Yeah, I think I always forget we have this. No, you go ahead. You set this all up. I think you're doing a great job. I think it's awesome. Unless you want a break, it's entirely up to you.
It's fine.
Okay.
I'm glad if I can clarify things.
Please do, and it will remind me, because like I said, I always forget about this.
Yeah, the Swagger documentation actually represents every endpoint our API offers. So you see we have a general endpoint. You can always click try it out here. So you see it's a GET request to the default, to the base URL, and it's returning currently running version 0.11.2. That's actually the same which you could see if you run this. Your browser actually doesn't do anything else than sending a GET request to the URL which is specified here. And yeah, you saw it's just the URI with the slash, so it displays this the thing we just saw in the Swagger documentation. Now there are some other endpoints, for example, for authentication, for the Discord entity, the stand-up entity, the GitHub entity, calendar. Yeah, you see there's a lock behind it, which means you need to authenticate to use these endpoints. You can do this by hitting authorize here, and you now see we are providing two authentication methods. We are having a BIRA token, it's a JWT, and we are having a static API key. It's a token, and you see it's sent in a header with the name client token, and this is a BIRA token. It's in the authorization header with the BIRA prefix. This key here is specified in the environment of our API.
Yeah.
So you know this, and the API key is needed to create tokens. So it's ABC specified in the environment. If I hit this, you see now these logs here are getting darker, which means you can now use these endpoints, and these are still like a bit grayish, which means you can't use them yet because they are using the other authentication method. If I just go now to the post auth token and try it out.
By the way, everyone, ABC is for the local development environment. In production,
don't do this in production, never.
We've got a proper one. So if you try and use ABC against the deployed version, it won't work. It will deny you. So this is just for local development.
Yeah, so now I need to check the key space I created. I think it's in the REST.htp file. It's the ID of my
your Discord server
of this dummy Discord server. And if I hit execute now, it should actually create it created a token for me, access token, where you can see the scopes, the key space. The key space is the server ID, and you get a client ID as well, and then expiry. But the expiry, that's work in progress. We are thinking of some possibilities to refresh this and handle the expiry properly. So if you copy this now here and hit authorize again, you can see you can now use all endpoints. Now you can just go Discord, the get all, for example, hit try it out, execute, and you see you get an empty object as a response, because we didn't create anything yet. If I add another scope here, it's called data.write, and hit execute, I get another token, which is having the permissions to create data as well as reading them. If I paste the writing token here, and I go to the Discord post endpoint, it shows me the DTO which needs to be transferred, so the API can work with it. Just hit try it out, execute, and now the document ID is string because we specified UID. Author UID is string. That's why we are returning string here as an ID. But you can see if you go to the get all endpoint now, you see there's the document. If you go to the get single one, try it out. The ID was string. And now you can test all your endpoints without having to write any line of code. It's just you see the get, post, put, delete endpoints. You see how you have to transfer your authentication methods in your requests to make everything work. That's probably the use of a Swagger documentation.
And I think it's super useful. So if you have automated testing, you can do it by automated testing. But this is just a quick way to test things out, really quickly from a manually testing. So I think it's good to have both.
Yeah, exactly. So what we actually need to do now is create a user. We could go for an interface of the DTO. I think that's probably not that bad idea. I think we don't need to, but we definitely can. I'll just create const create user DTO equals. I hope this works. I think it's just because it isn't returning. I can adjust the return type later. so we don't run into issues. Yeah, everything works now. This is Discord. The UID needs to be message dot, is it sender offer dot ID. Bio is optional, I think. We can have a look in the Swagger documentation. What happens if you create one with an empty bio and an empty object as socials?
Just could you remove the social object and remove the bio?
And I think we need to, yeah, I think it works. If you go to here, the 1, 2, 3 bio is empty and socials is an empty object. So this works for creating the user. So we can just transfer this as an empty object and an empty string. I think if we format document once, we can remove this.
Afnan, thank you very much for the issue and the pull request on the API project. That's awesome, fixing the typo. Thank you very much. Just one bit of feedback I would suggest when you do your issue, just make sure you say closes or fixes the issue number in the pull request description. Therefore, it will automatically close it for us. That's my only suggestion. Otherwise, it looks good. Sorry,
so now what we have to do is actually send the request to the API. The token is returned from the token cache service, which I created, a few weeks ago already. I'm just thinking, do you think we have to have a try catch, or do you think it's okay to have an error if the request fails? Do we need to catch it, or is it fine when it fails?
Interesting.
I will probably do a try.
Yeah, I think it's always safer, and we can come back with just a message to the to the user that it failed.
So yeah, what we have to do now is we are having a response. I probably add this at the top, and that's a string initialized with null.
Just to answer Mohan's question, what we're trying to do is we're going to make a new command on our Discord bot. So in the EdiHub Discord, we can use the command like !bio, and you can pass a bio in to set your bio. And you can also set your social links, and also, probably not in this stream, but in a future stream, set achievements and milestones. And that will automatically drive the LinkFree project rather than having JSON files in the project. So that's the plan. I will share a link to the LinkFree project so you can have a look and get an idea of the visual part of it.
So what we need now is we need to send the request, the post request. We saw in the Swagger docs for creating the Discord user. We have to use the post endpoint. So I'm calling the post function, and we have to get the URL from for the for the API from the environment. Yeah, that's why we need to bring in the config service from Nest as well. We need to adjust this probably later in the tests because it's a new dependency we are having here. So before committing, we have to take a look at the tests. So yeah, the post URL will be this.config.get. I'll just have a quick look in here. Needs to be here. This pro.config to get. I'm just interested in this part here. And now we have to do /post, put this as a string. Oh, it's not /post, it's, oops. it's /Discord, I think. Yeah. Yeah, the second argument will be our data object. It's the create user DTO. And for config, we need to pass in the header with the mirror token. I think it's also something we can take from the token cache service. Oh, we actually can't, because the token, the auth endpoint uses the other authentication method, so we have to provide this on our own. Headers will be an object. The key will be authorization, and the value will be bearer, and then token. So now if we, did I mess up something with the brackets? Don't think so. If we just console.log response.data. Oh, we need to turn this to a promise. I told you that in Nest version 8, to promise is deprecated. So we have to think of a solution, maybe with observables then. And here I'll log just log the error for now.
Yeah, we'll have to do a response to the user, just let them know that their command failed, so they need to resubmit it.
Exactly. Yeah, let me have a look at the console if everything booted correctly. Yeah, looks fine. So if I type profile create, I hope. Yeah, there's a document ID returned. And if I go to the Discord endpoint now, there should hopefully be a document. Yeah, exactly. I can just go here and paste the returned document ID, hit execute, and we get the response with Discord, my user ID, bio as an empty string, and socials as an empty object. So yeah, create user already works. What we can do now, or what we have to do now, is inform the user. So we have to, return something. I think in the token cache service we are returning a string, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's just crazy formatting.
That's quite a long line.
Yeah, I think we can just return profile created successfully. I think that's something we can work out later to make this look a bit cooler with any emojis or something. Pro successfully, and here we have to return if it goes to the catch block. I think we should definitely log the error. Yeah, that's actually the point. I think we had this discussion, or there was the discussion in the Edibot repo about the logging service.
Yeah.
This could come into play here as well, because we're just logging. It's not centralized with any logging class or anything. It's just the plain console log which Node provides. That's something that could be improved with using the Nest.js logging system. So then, if it runs into the catch block, we just display profile created, not successfully. Yeah, I think that's fine for now. If just doing the handling like this, that's something we can adjust later. Don't think we need this then. And now we can add the return type, which is a string, isn't it?
Bye, Hitesh. Thanks for joining.
Oh, it's a promise.
I'm not helping Carl. I feel so bad. I'm too busy in the chat. Sorry, Carl.
Don't worry. Oh, that's HTML autocompletion.
Yeah, it happens to me as well. I don't know what plugin that does that, but it is a little bit painful sometimes when you do that. You're trying to write TypeScript and it's trying to be clever, and auto does it with HTML.
Yeah, but I think that's already looking quite good for now. Yeah, the second thing we can remove this. The second thing we have to handle is just a message.reply with response. That's valid. I think that's that needs an await. Then this needs to be a string. Then token cache service can be removed from the dependencies in our constructor. Just to organize imports. So yeah, the second thing we have to handle now is case if, let's say, how should the command actually look like? Do we want to add exclamation mark profile add or exclamation mark profile and then socials, or what do you think?
Type one out. Just type the whole command out, maybe in a comment in the line below, line above, so people can just see the example.
So yeah, for for the create to go to this block, we would probably have profile create, and now the question is, put the indentation correctly. Would this be profile add or profile socials, and then Twitter, for example, something like this, or profile add? What does the chat think?
Yeah, let's have a look in the chat. Let us know what you think. The more specific we are, the better, but the longer and verbose it comes. So it's just trying to have that balance. So it could be, I think it's profile.
We probably need a nested switch. I never did this before. I don't even know if this is good practice to do nested switches. But
yeah, I'm on the fence. I think it's we could do it, and we can see how it looks, and we can always rework it later. Yes, I think profile is a good one, and then we should have add.
Or socials.
And then,
maybe a fan of socials. Profiles,
yes.
social Twitter, and then we have like https twitter.com/
Yeah.
So this, for example, this is how the command would look then.
I think so, and it'll be the same for the other socials, and then bio would be slightly differently because it wouldn't need the Twitter or the type. So that's why it'd be a different case. Yeah, I think that works. Looks good to me. What does everyone else think in the chat?
I need dots. Yeah. Oops. And then the last case would be case bio. But I think the bio command isn't that important for today. I think for the LinkFree project, maybe the bio is also nice to have for the LinkFree project, to be honest. I didn't think that far.
Yeah, bio is needed. Picture isn't, because we can use the picture from their Discord.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's probably not added to the API yet. That's also an issue somebody can raise.
Yes, okay, good idea.
To add the Discord user profile picture URL as a property of the DTO.
Hopefully everyone got that. Let me share a link to the API project in the chat. Someone can raise an issue, get your green square, to have the Discord avatar URL added to the Discord DTO. And DTO stands for data transfer object. And if you want to do more, and you can write tests for it, you could write the code for it. There is some example code there already as well. Have a look. Any questions, let us know. It's a great way to get into the project. And in a bit, if we get time, we can walk you through it. But go get started, go have a look, and let us know.
Now I'm just thinking what makes sense for the service. I think I wouldn't put the that's the wrong file. I wouldn't put the nested switch inside this. I would probably just call the service here with the update socials and then pass in the second argument and the third argument. So we don't pollute this file. I think that's probably the best. So we have the platform, which is a string, and we have the link, which is also a string. And we need the message. I think the message should be first because we need the ID of the user. So awesome. Then we have to use, we need to create let update user is equal to, so let's copy this for now. I hope it's not too boring to watch this.
No, it's good. It's good. And we're getting some great questions as well. People want to know how to raise a pull request and stuff like that. So I didn't want to break your flow. So when you get a moment, I'm going to answer some of these questions as well.
Yeah, sure. Go on. I think it's quite boring to watch if just me is I'm having a monologue when
No, it's good.
writing some code.
No, but it's that way people learn and so forth. So no, I'm learning as well. I know everyone who's watching is learning too. So I'll answer some of these questions. So Harsha, hopefully I pronounced your name right. Yes, I have videos on making pull requests, adding automated tests to APIs with Cucumber as well. I do have videos on my channel about these. I can send you some links afterwards. No trouble at all. We love questions. Questions are my favorite part. So thank you so much. And I do a lot of live streams that are AMA, so ask me anything. So do come along and bring more of your questions, please. They're great. This is how I create my tweets and my blog posts and videos. When I see people asking great questions, I make videos and tweets about it and so forth. So please keep them coming. That's awesome. So let me go back to the questions. So I'm going to go to Afnan's question was first. So I want to ask about tests which happen when PRs gets merged, when PR gets approved in GitHub. What are they? So the automated tests run before an approval. So I won't even actually go and review a pull request until the GitHub Actions or continuous integration has passed, is in its green. There might be some linting issues, there might be some, basically formatting issues, there might be some automated tests that fail, or the code might not build. I'm not going to go review it until that's all green. So as an author of a pull request, you should go and make sure that it's green. And once it's green, I will then go review and give feedback to the person. Not all projects have automated tests. A great way to contribute to Hacktoberfest is to find projects that are not using GitHub Actions, and with a few lines of YAML, you can actually add their linter or their build command or their tests to GitHub Actions. I actually have a video on that as well. So do check out my channel after the live stream where I show you how to make a GitHub action, or how to use a GitHub action, not making one from scratch, but how to use a GitHub action, even if one doesn't exist, with a few lines of YAML config, and it's really, really awesome. So I hope that answers your question, Afnan. If it doesn't, if you can be more specific and ask again, and I'll gladly answer. Harsha, no trouble at all. Again, thank you so much for the questions. New people are always welcome. We're an inclusive community, so that's awesome to have you here. So after you go to the repo, how do I make a PR? So what you can do is you can find there's a couple of ways you can do it. You can fork the project and clone it locally, and if you want to get more involved. Other thing you do is you can click the GitPod button as well.
Yeah,
Carl,
that's my recommended way.
Okay, cool. But I have a question. Should they do that on the main repo, or should they fork it first, then click the GitPod button?
You should fork it first.
Okay. So fork
unless you created your pull request. If the pull request is open, you can go to the upstream repo and then hit the GitPod button. Then it should open your fork. But you can open the Gitpod button from the main upstream fork, but then you probably won't have write access when
Yes.
pushing.
So definitely worth doing, always doing it in your fork. And the fork is basically a copy of the project into your account. And if you want to make more changes later on, is you can just add more commits to your fork, and it will automatically get added to any open pull requests if it's in the same branch. So another way you can do it, if it is a text change, you don't have to get too serious. You can actually go to the file that you want on GitHub, and there's an edit pen button. Let me just share my screen really quickly. I want to steal it from you, Carl.
Go on.
If you go to, I don't know, for example, Edibot, and you want it to trigger to block certain words, you would go to source, and then you go to config, for example, and you can use the search at the top if you want to search for a specific name. And if you wanted to add something here, so you wanted to add a new prevent word, you could just hit the edit button at the top right, and GitHub will automatically create a fork for you. And then you won't even notice any difference. It will open this in editor, so it will come in to be like editor like this. You make your change, and then you do a commit. And you won't have this option, commit directly to main branch. I do because I'm the maintainer on the project. You will just have, I don't think there'll be any option. It will automatically commit it to a branch in your fork, and then it will take you to the next page to raise a pull request. Go through the process. If you want to practice, we actually have a practice repo that you can do right now. So we have Hacktoberfest practice. This doesn't count towards Hacktoberfest, but it allows you to add it gives you full instructions on what to do, full instructions, and then below that it's got everyone's name in alphabetical order. So you can go and add your name just to practice the workflow. I highly, highly encourage that. So practice repo, but remember it doesn't count towards Hacktoberfest, but it's a practice repo that you can practice on. Let me go back to Carl's screen. We'll see what Carl's up to. And there's a couple more questions
maybe I can explain real quick what I
Sure.
did now. I created the update socials function. It's public, which actually does it creates the socials object. So, for example, if the platform which gets passed in is Twitter, then the socials object looks like Twitter with the link. If it's LinkedIn, it's LinkedIn, yeah, and so on. I think you get what I mean. When doing Discord, I think we don't need an argument because, yeah, we can get this from the actual message. So I took message.author.username. I created an interface for this socials object. So if I remove this and I just hit space, you can see I already get the IntelliSense for this. That's the nice thing about TypeScript. So yeah, I can do Twitter. Yeah, what I'm now thinking about is doing a private method, which actually performs the request to the API, because the update request for the bio actually looks the same with just another body. So we can move this to a known function to remove the code duplication. I think that's a quite good approach for doing some clean code. Yeah, here I'd probably do private. It's an async function which perform update, and it takes in body. I do any for now. I think that's also something which could be specified later to use an actual real TypeScript interface, or maybe we can do this, but for now it's currently probably not needed. Yeah, what we do is I'm
not being helpful at all. I'm really sorry.
Yeah, don't worry.
Supposed to be a pairing stream, and I'm still busy. I'm busy in the chat.
I think if there are some questions, just read them. Maybe I can answer something as well if there are some questions.
So
about the things I'm doing.
Yeah, here's a question that you could answer actually. Making small PRs not qualify me for Hacktoberfest. What about collection type repos? I don't know what a collection type repo is, but the size of the PR is not important. The important part is the value that it adds to the project. What do you think on this, Carl?
Yeah, definitely. I think I can't imagine why a small PR should be rejected for Hacktoberfest.
I think people.
I think it even
when
makes it easier for the maintainer to maintain your changes if they are small, instead of some 500 files, and then you may get a new bug inside your code base just because the maintainer was overwhelmed with all changes.
Yeah, big pull requests probably don't ever get merged. I got quite a few big ones, unfortunately, that are outstanding, but because they just take too long to review, and I can't sit down for like half a day to test it, check it. It's just too many features in one. So it should do one thing and do one thing well, and that is it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's good. Is it necessary to change source code in Git console only to make a PR? No, you can make a pull request all just in the GitHub web interface. But the more advanced you get, you probably want to do it locally or with GitPods. It makes it a lot easier. I think practice projects, like we've got one, Hacktoberfest practice, I think they're good for practicing, but they won't count to Hacktoberfest because they're just practice. They're not adding value. You're welcome, no problem.
So yeah, we're returning response.data. Do we actually need to return anything? I'm not sure. If we just return a string. Updated successfully, and then we can add the try catch block again.
What does the API return, I suppose? Can we use something from there?
I think it's I need to check, actually.
I'm guessing it returns an ID. On an
Yes,
update,
but I think
probably
that
not.
I think it returns it should return an ID, but I think is it relevant for the user? I'm not sure
No,
if the
probably
user
not.
is interested. I think the user just wants to know if it was successful or not.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
So yeah, I think we can also auto infer the return type. I saw this feature recently on Twitter. Is it refactor? Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Or
really? I didn't see that before.
I saw that on Twitter, but I think we could just say it's a promise of type string. So yeah, I think we are actually quite close to finish the bot part.
Awesome.
So yeah, we are just inferring the return message here. Equals await this dot perform update.
Here's a great question for Carl. Are we using this keyword because it's part of the class?
Yes, exactly. Oh, I need to make this an async function as well. Yeah, what we are actually doing here, it's Nest specific. We are creating service classes. That's something in general I'd always recommend doing. Putting your, even in some front-end projects, putting as much logic as you can inside service functions or service classes, and don't pollute your actual display logic.
Yes.
Because yeah, that's probably complex enough, and you don't need the whole request things and stuff inside your views. So yeah, I'd always recommend put most of your logic into service classes.
Definitely, it makes sense. It helps a lot. Easier for people to work on, easier for testing, like automated testing, really important. And Dev Overflow asks, why is Nest.js better than Express? Nest.js, I think, is built on top of Express. Is that correct?
Exactly. Nest is like Next.js is what Next.js is for React.
Yeah.
It uses Express and optional Fastify, but that's also possible, and adds some functionalities on top of this. For example, the interceptors, guards, these things which you then, when not using Nest, you would have to create manually. And yeah, that's probably work you don't have to do because Nest already provides this out of the box.
Same with authentication, with so many things. It's just, you can just plug and play. And I know people say, oh, frameworks are bloated, but really they're only included once you include them. So they've got, it's effectively like all these libraries, but they're all ready to work together, the right versions. You don't have all these issues. And as you include them, then it bakes them in. So definitely check them out. You know, it is TypeScript, but you can write JavaScript. You don't get the benefit of TypeScript, but yeah. Hi, Arthur Var. I hope I pronounced your name right. I should get better at pronouncing everyone's names.
So now we just need the bio thing, and then we are probably ready to test.
Yes, and this is where everyone else is going to come in. You're all going to help us test it in Discord shortly as well. Once Carl tests it, he can push it, we can get it merged and deployed in, and we can all test it, hopefully.
So yeah, what's now missing is public async update bio. And for this, we need the message, which is of type message, and we need the actual bio. That should be a string. So we are having a return message as well here. I think that's probably, oh, we need to create the update user object again. So copy this. This could probably also be refactored to an own function, but yeah, I think that's fine for now because it's just the object. I wonder if you just can leave away the reload this.
Swagger coming in again. I must remember to use this.
That's an awesome feature. That's also something Nest generates out of the box for you. So normally you have to write it with YAML. There are some options in some NPM packages which create this for you, and yeah, that's also one for Nest. So you just need to add some decorators to your endpoints, and the rest gets done automatically.
Yeah, that's true. It's another benefit. Again, we don't have to configure all of this out from scratch. Nest provides a lot of this already.
So if I just take this, so I need to test this now. Authorize. Try this out. So we created car. The ID is car. Oh, we probably need to provide the user ID header. We need to adjust the function with which performs the actual request. But that's no big deal, hopefully. If I update my bio and I don't want to update my socials, what happens if I add this? That's awesome. Nothing happens to this, although I send an empty object. What happens if
you remove it? Yeah.
Don't send socials.
You've got a comma. Do you have to remove the comma, or is it?
Yes, you're right.
I helped for once. Yay.
Oh, now author is, that's probably my bad. Let's speed this. Yeah, it works as well. That's awesome.
Okay, cool.
I'm positively surprised.
And that was that using a put or a patch?
It was a put endpoint.
Okay, that's probably something we actually need to fix. I think that's a bug. Because with put, if you don't supply anything, it
Yeah,
should remove it.
yeah. I think I already opened an issue for this
Got you. Okay.
few months ago.
Okay. So that's a good refactor if anyone wants to do that. If there's a put, you only save the data that you've received and you destroy everything else. Whereas if it's a patch, you only update the fields that you've received. So if some field doesn't get provided, you don't delete it, you don't do anything with it, you can ignore it. So that's a good one to do.
I wonder if you just can use message.author.id. And then we have the header, which is called user ID. I hope this works. User ID, which is also then message.
We might be able to add a decorator to add this in already.
No, why it doesn't like? Oh, I don't need the
It's
dollar
not in
sign.
there.
Message.author.id. So
And it's great you're doing always this with GitPod. So you haven't installed Docker, you haven't anything.
I still have, I still have, but just in case something goes down with my internet connection or something.
But you're not using it now. I think that's great.
No. I didn't use my local dev environment for about 2 months now.
That's really, really good. Someone's asked, Birash asking the question. I think I can answer this. What is the command to edit the README file in Git Bash? You can just edit the file. You use Git to commit your changes. Mohan, I haven't set up Swagger in a long time for Express, so I can't remember. I don't think it's hard, but you have to do a lot more configuration.
So now we just need to call response await this dot profile service dot update bio. That's message, and that's args index 2, I think. So we are probably good to go. Yeah, let's try. Maybe I can just restart. Oh, I don't. I just delete the entry which is currently in for my user ID. I think it's this. I just hit the delete. 204, awesome. So now we are ready to go.
Awesome.
Profile create. Profile created successfully. Let's check in the Swagger docs. If I just use this endpoint. So yes, we're having an empty bio and empty socials. That's awesome. If we do profile.
Now the test.
Bio. Hello, updated successfully. Bio is set to hello.
We need some sound effects.
And now if I add a social profile, I think it was socials if I remember correctly. Profile handler.
Hey Praveen, I hear you were live streaming on the same topic at the same time as us.
Twitter, and then I do HTTPS,
It's
twitter.com/
looking good.
Oh, it even responded with my Twitter profile. Oh, there seems to be a console log somewhere, but I think that's no big deal.
Did it save
Yeah,
it?
and Twitter is also set correctly. I
Yes.
think I just need to test something because we are using for the arguments, we are using a message content.trim, which means if I add profile bio hello something, I think this needs to be put in. Does it? Because I think when having a space here,
Ah,
this may cause an
yes.
issue.
Yes, that's a good point.
So just try it out. What happens? That's not nice.
No, so I think there's something in Nest.js to do this for us, so we don't have to do it ourselves. So what you can do is, what I would recommend is put a to-do on that and maybe raise it as a pull request, and we can work on it later, because I think there's something built in that we can use on Nest. I remember seeing the documentation to say the first one is this parameter, the second one is this, and then the remainder is this, because we might not have to, the split might not work. So put a to-do in for that, and we will fix it, probably outside the stream. But it's already looking really, really good.
So
And while you're committing those changes, I'm just going to answer some questions. What do you think a back-end developer should do except for CRUD things? Oh, great question. I actually did a video on this recently on my second YouTube channel. I'm trying to do more like relaxed videos on my on my second YouTube channel. So let me share a link to that you can all watch later on. But I talk about side projects, and I give some examples. So second YouTube channel, and I want to do more vlog style stuff on my second YouTube channel as well. But in addition to CRUD, I think it's important to do CRUD. But after a while, it gets repetitive, especially when you're looking, people are looking at your resume or your GitHub profile. Do something like real-time data, like a real-time chat. Do something maybe with some biggish data, like aggregations. So you might have, your GitHub activity, for example, but you might want to draw a graph over the last month for each day, kind of how many commits you had each day. So, Monday was 5, Tuesday was 2, Wednesday was 20, stuff like that. So definitely show the different skills in addition to CRUD.
yeah, now I just run the unit test,
Okay.
and these are two of them are failing because of the dependency we injected, we added, but that's hopefully no big deal. So what we have to do is we are having providers. So we need imports, config module. No, it's not auto-imported. No.
Yeah, the auto import usually works, but sometimes it doesn't.
So we need the config module, we need the HTTP module. And I think that's it. Or do we need we need the token cache service as a provider. Is it? I think it's in token module already imported.
This is why I like end-to-end tests more. I think they're less
Yeah, I think
granular and
that's a
they
bit pain.
check
Yeah,
more things. Yeah, less brittle.
token module.
While you're doing that, I'm just going to share your link in the chat, and I'm going to share Praveen's as well.
Why can't I
So
import it?
where's your
Token
GitHub
module.
link? So everyone go follow Carl on GitHub. See the awesome things he's working on.
From
And then I will get Praveen's as well.
is Praveen in the chat?
Yeah, Praveen's in the chat as well. So
Hi
also
Praveen.
subscribe to Praveen's YouTube as well. There's lots of live streams too. Mostly on React, but now apparently exploring Discord bots too. So that's cool.
Yeah, if I'm honest, I'm definitely not into Discord bot development. I think Nick's
Yes.
the one for these questions. So now hopefully, yeah, there's only one failing. That's the profile service still. What does it say? Profile service.
Profile service.
Oh no, it's the profile handler. Yeah, that's probably the one I would have expected to fail. So we are having which dependency here? We are having just the profile service.
Yason, thank you so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Have a great weekend. And hopefully we'll see you in Discord soon as well. And I think there's public speaking tomorrow. I have to check.
So now if the tests run, I think we are ready to. Oh, still failing. We need to import the whole thing as well. That's always a bit unfortunate when setting up unit tests.
Yeah, I find they're definitely more rigid and brittle. Whereas for end-to-end tests, as long as the whole process still works, then it's happy. It doesn't care about the details.
Yeah, especially with the dependency injection.
Exactly.
So now
Well,
it looks good now. So I just need to add the updated tests. The lint command already run. The REST HTTP file isn't needed, I think. Now if I just do git commit feature, edit profile logic. And it's online.
Awesome.
I think the PR is already opened. I'm not sure. If not, I can show the process for some viewers which are interested in this process.
Yeah,
I think
do
that's a question we got in the stream last week quite often.
And we got it today as well. So yeah, definitely
Exactly.
show
Yeah.
it.
So I just pushed it to this branch, Karl Lagerfeld issue 662. If I go to pull request now, it recognizes that I changed something, and I've just hit compare and pull request. Then I have to type close this and then link the issue, which is 662, creates profile for LinkFree via Discord. You can add a short description, but I think when linking to an issue, the description is already described in the issue which was opened. What you can do here is I always like doing this, add a small list with things I adjusted. So I added a create user,
This is so helpful. Yeah, really
update
helpful.
socials, and update bio. And these things are all done. And now what we can do is add a note for the maintainer that there's still an issue with trim
Nice. That's really, really useful.
when updating bio in the argument. So then I just hit create pull request. Then the maintainer would know what I did. There's still an open issue.
Yeah, so on the pull request list, it will show. So if I quickly steal it for 1 second, or if, while you're doing that, on the pull request list, it will show 3 out of 4 tasks complete on this pull request, which is super helpful for the maintainer to know there's still one thing outstanding. Okay,
I think when updating the test, I run into another linting issue. So I just run npm run lint fix. That's probably quite comfortable fixing the linting issues if everything is set up correctly. So now I see there are 2 files which were modified. If I do a git add is already done. Commit -m style fix lint. Now git push, and now everything should work, hopefully.
You can do it that on on save it runs.
I wonder if there isn't any. I thought Husky is configured. Why?
Oh yes. How did you do for the bot? Husky should be configured. Yeah. If you go to
it's just pre-commit, npm run lint.
Yeah, it should run.
And test as well. And I didn't skip any hooks.
Oh, wait a second. It couldn't be set because it's not an executable. Interesting.
I'm not sure. Maybe that's also worth an issue to investigate on that.
Yes.
That's probably also a good first issue.
Yeah, exactly. Who needs a green square if someone can raise an issue? And I think it's a good first issue for someone to fix as well. How did you committed it via the command line? So it should have picked up, but it couldn't run those files.
And I didn't commit it with the -n flag to skip all the hooks. So here. The Husky pre-commit hook was ignored because it's not set as executable. You can disable this warning with git config advice. That's a bit strange, to be honest. Yeah, but I think now all the checks should. They passed. Awesome.
Cool.
They can added 226 lines, removed 2.
Quite busy. Okay, so I'm gonna after the live stream, I'm gonna GitPod that and have a play. Cool.
Package log. The package log bumped to version 0.16.3. That's the 2 lines which got deleted. That's fine, I think.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna have a play. We've been going for over an hour and a half. I think any other changes we should leave till another stream. What do you think?
Yeah, I think we can. I think when connecting everything to the LinkFree repo, that's a bit more front-end focused. I'm not sure, but maybe you're a bit more into front-end development than me.
I'm not sure about that, but we can. I can have a go, and we can see. Yeah, it should be. Okay.
I think there was the request with explaining the authentication of the API a bit.
Oh yes.
I think that's something we could do for a few minutes if we
sounds good.
If we stop with coding now.
Yeah, that sounds good. Awesome.
I just go to the API project. I don't know if the one who requested this is still in the chat. I hope he is.
Yeah, hopefully they are. Oh yes, they are. Brilliant. Perfect timing. Cool.
So maybe we can specify a bit more which parts of the authentication, because we are supporting 2 authentication methods, and I'm not sure if it's maybe a bit too much to explain both of them. Which one is the one they are more interested in?
Probably the JWT, because the other one is more for just kind of, you've got a token on another server and it gets access to create JWTs.
Yeah.
So I think
Okay.
just the JWT part is probably the interesting part, which what most people will use.
So yeah, I can take the Discord controller as an example.
Perfect.
I think you can see that there are quite many decorators here. It looks a bit like an API which is coded in Spring.
Yes.
Yeah, we are having multiple guards. We're having a JWT guard and a scopes guard. The JWT guard is for authentication, so we know the key space, the user requests. We know about the scopes he's allowed to use. Yeah, and we can validate the signature to check if the token is still valid or if it's really signed by our server. And the scopes guard is for authorization. So we can check with the scopes decorator here. I created a dictionary for this, that it's only allowed with the right permissions. That's defined for every endpoint. We are using JWT guard, the scopes guard, and here, for example, is this endpoint is allowed to be used with the reading scopes. That's why we are having the scopes dictionary.read here. And this decorator is just for the Swagger documentation, that the Swagger docs know that this endpoint is used with a mirror authentication. So if we go to the auth folder, we are having a JWT strategy. That's quite nice implementation for Nest.js. It allows you to use every passport strategy which is out there. There's an adapter for this. So we are actually using passport JWT with the Nest.js passport adapter to make use of this strategy. Yeah, and then we are using the JWT actually from the auth header as Spira token, as the function says. The secret or key which gets valid, which is used to validate the signature of the token, is taken from the environment. And then we are having our auth service, which I can show in a few minutes or a few seconds. We have the validate client function, and the function just takes in the payload, which gets passed by which we get from the token. So that's why here's the token payload as an interface. This returns true or false, and if it's false, we are throwing an unauthorized exception, and if it's valid, we return the payload in the request.user object later. The auth service.
So this is the beauty of using a framework, in that you've got a lot of these kind of hooks and these classes that you put in the right place, and annotations in the right place, and they all kind of work nicely together. So we do have a question here. So only if the decorator is there is it authorized? Yes. So the decorator there protects that method, which I think is awesome. You don't have to worry about writing those sorts of things.
You could add the decorator on the controller level, so that the controller is scoped to the whole. The decorator is scoped to the whole controller and not just the endpoint. But then you're not that agile and control the scopes which are needed for every endpoint. So just for the whole controller itself, and that's not what we want. The auth service provides or exposes the register function, which is called when someone registers a new token. Then the validate client token, which we currently saw, gets invoked in the strategy, where we take the key space in a client from the token payload and then request the database and check if there's a token registered for this. And we're having a remove client, which invalidate makes tokens unusable. We are having a validate token function. That's a feature which I think it is already in the bot, but I'm not 100% sure, which allows you to check if the token you sent in is still valid or not. And Git client IDs is just also for the Swagger documentation. I think if we take a look at auth key space would be this number again. And now we should see all tokens which are registered for this key space. That's the get all clients function. Yeah, and that's probably it. It's just adding the decorators and then connecting all controller services together. It's not that complicated. I think yeah, when doing it with plain Express, it's definitely tougher than doing it with Nest.js.
Yeah, it starts off probably, it looks easier at first glance in Express because you're like, oh, it's just, there isn't much there. I can start building it up. But then very quickly it becomes quite messy and complicated and complex and so forth. And people wonder why they don't get contributors because it's too hard to understand. But with this, it's all documented, not just by us, by the actual framework and libraries that are used and so forth. So. And we do have our own generated documentation. Thank you so much, Carl, for bringing that up.
Yes, that's generated with AsciiDoc. And I documented the thing with the Swagger URL, how you use the API token, how you use the bearer token, some important info, the authentication flow and this stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in especially the authentication, the documentation for this is already written. I recently opened a PR, I think, which got reviewed by Bolt with the contribution things when using GitPod or setting up with your local environment. Yeah, I think the documentation which gets generated with ADOC is also a huge benefit. Every project benefits from, because it's actually so easy to set this up. There's also the AsciiDoc package is now available for NPM, so you don't need the Ruby version anymore.
Awesome.
Yeah,
which one are we using? Did we change it?
Yeah, I already used it with as a dev dependency, I think.
That's great.
Hopefully it's a dev dependency. Yeah, the docs command runs AsciiDoc-d build and then docs index adoc, and we are having a function which or action, not function, action, which deploys the AsciiDoc folder to GitHub pages later. Yeah, but if you're interested in authentication with Passport or Express, I'm probably not that pro in Express. I used Nest also for some client projects. That's why I feel quite comfortable with Nest, and I definitely recommend using it. Yeah, feel free to reach out on Discord. I'm glad if I can help you with any questions regarding this.
Yeah, and do look at the great documentation that Carl has written on that, and look at what we've done, and then ask questions on that, because we can maybe make improvements on it to the documentation or to the code, and getting a fresh pair of eyes really helps. So Bulong, good night. Thank you so much for joining. Really appreciated it. Hopefully I pronounced your name right. DevFlow, you're welcome, and thank you so much, Carl, for that amazing, I say pair programming. I was basically just chilling and you were doing all the hard work. But thank you so much for taking us all through that. I really appreciate it. It's great. We're going to have that feature as well very soon. And people can start using it, and then we can start, people can use those commands, not just to update their details, but to make other commands that we want. So yes, I do want to make an update to the API, and I want to be able to increment our when people do activity on Discord and when people do activity on GitHub, so we can have some stats and add that to the LinkFree project as well. So that's definitely on my list of things that I'd like to get done soon as well. Now you've got an example on the API and you've done an example on Discord, because then people can then maybe use a Discord command to read the stats as well, rather than just going to LinkFree and so forth. So lots of ideas going on. So that's really awesome. Everyone, don't forget to go and follow Carl on GitHub. He does lots of awesome things on there, contributes to our projects as well as many others as well. So do go check it out. I've just dropped the link in the chat as well. Cool. Dev Overflow, you are more than welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. I had fun too and learned loads as well. Carl, anything else you'd like to add?
Probably not. I think see you on Discord.
Yeah, we'll see you all in Discord, and let us know in Discord what you're working on at the moment, what your plans are for the weekend, and how your Hacktoberfest is going. Awesome. Thanks, everyone. We will catch you in Discord.
See you.
And bring up the holding page. Here we go.